Hey everyone, and welcome to the Zone of Tech. I'm Daniel, and in my previous video, I unboxed and gave you my first impressions on the new HTC One M9. And that video is actually pretty long and pretty in-depth, so yeah, it's more of like a review than a first impressions video. So in case you are interested in seeing a mini review ahead of the full review, which by the way is in the works, then be sure to click this annotation or the link in the description box down below. And in the meantime, I just wanted to do two separate videos outlining the top 5 best HTC One M9 features and also another one outlining the top 5 worst HTC One M9 features. So yeah, in this one I'll be covering the top 5 best HTC One M9 features. So yeah, enjoy the video. Coming in at number 5, we have something which I'm not so sure how many of you are aware of. So on the top of the HTC One M9, same as with the M8, we have this black bar. And that bar isn't just there for design purposes. No, it's there because it also acts as an infrared sensor. What this means is that you can essentially use this as a TV remote. All you have to do is start the app, which is not called the HTC Remote app anymore for some weird reason, but Appeal Smart Remote app instead. So open that, enter your postcode, select your TV provider in case you want to see the TV guide on your phone. Set this up as a remote and that's it. You can now control your TV and even see the TV guide right from your phone. And of course that if you want, you can even download some third-party remote apps because the Google Play Store is full of them. Next up we have the battery life. So the HTC One M8 already had an impressive battery life. That one came with a 2600 mAh battery, which lasted me for about a day, sometimes even more than that. And now the HTC One M9 comes with an even larger battery, a 2840 mAh one. So some of you might remember those dual tone edges I talked about in my first impressions video. Those dual tone edges, besides giving the phone a secondary color, they also make it less slippery, but at the same time they add a bit of thickness to the M9. So the M9 is indeed thicker than the M8, reason why they managed to pack those extra 240 mAh. And what can I say? If the M8 lasted me for an entire day, this one lasts me for about a day and a half, sometimes even 2 days. And in case you're looking to extend that even further, same as with the M8, you get this extreme power saving mode, which essentially turns your phone into a dumb phone. And with this, your M9 will actually last you for even a week, which is impressive. So if you're looking for a long-lasting phone, the M9 is one of the best choices on the market. Coming in at number 3, we have the design. So some of you may wonder why I chose the design to be on the 3rd place and not the 1st. And the reason for that is that the front is essentially identical to the M8, so there are no design changes here. The back is again almost identical to the M8, the only difference here is the lack of that secondary camera, and in the end the only thing that has changed are the sides. So just as I mentioned before, you get this dual tone look now, which means that on some models, like my silver one, the edges have a different color. And this definitely makes the phone look even more premium than before, but it also comes at a cost. The main downside is that the phone is a bit thicker now, which for some might be an issue, but in the hand it still feels great. And just to give you a thickness idea, it's thicker than the iPhone 6 and the Galaxy S6. And yeah, it's quite noticeably thicker. And besides this, since the edges are separated from the display now, the phone is actually not unibody anymore. So the reason why they did this was to make the phone less slippery and also to make room for the larger battery I talked about. But for me, I definitely prefer the M8's design over this one. Let me know in the comment section down below which design you prefer. But in the end, the HTC One M9 is definitely one of the best designed phones of all time. I mean, if you're in the market for a premium looking smartphone, the most premium ones are the iPhone 6, the HTC One M9, and now we also have the Samsung Galaxy S6. And even though in my opinion the One M8 looked way better, you can't argue the fact that the M9 is a remarkable looking phone. So you have a phone that looks great, has an amazing battery life, and you can even control your TV with this thing. But the thing that makes this phone even better is its performance. So long story short, the M9 is one of the fastest Android phones you can get. It almost never stutters, it's fast and fluid, everything simply performs exactly how it should perform on such an expensive device. And this is mainly because of 2 reasons. The first reason are those insane specs. So the M9 comes with the new Snapdragon 810, among with 3GB of RAM, which makes it one of the most powerful phones on the market right now. But even with such powerful specs, it could still lag if it wasn't for the overlay. So if you want to get the best performance out of your Android phone, the best way to go is full stock Android. Unfortunately, only devices sold directly from Google have a pure stock experience, so the Nexus is. Most Android phones come with a skin. Samsung has TouchWiz, which up until the S5 was known as the slowest skin, and HTC has Sense, which is known as the fastest skin. So the second reason why the M9 is so fast is the new Sense 7 skin, which does resemble stock Android in a way. It has a really clean and really uncluttered look, and at the same time performs almost as well as stock Android. This, along with the new Android Lollipop, make the HTC One M9 one of the most fluid phones you can get. And finally, my favorite HTC One M9 feature, you probably guessed it, are those front-facing boom sound speakers. So the HTC One series has been known to have the best speakers for a phone. So instead of the speakers being located on the back of the phone or on the bottom like you get on most phones, the speakers are located on the front. And you don't just get one, you get two of them. So yeah, you get full stereo sound from this one. So the M7 was great, it was powered by Beats Audio. The M8 was even better, and this one was powered by HTC's in-house audio. And this time the M9 is even louder than the M8, the sound is even richer, and it's powered by Dolby Audio. So thanks to that Dolby Audio, we now have two speaker modes. We have a Dolby Music and a Dolby Theater mode, which mimics a 5.1 surround sound. But keep in mind that those are just equalizer settings, so nothing is changing in terms of the hardware. But I do have to say that they really do an amazing job, especially when you hold this really close to your face and bump the volume to the max. It feels as if you were in a cinema. Yeah, listen to this. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, there are two more bonus features which definitely worth a mention. The first one is this new theme store, which allows you to change the look of your phone completely. Actually, almost all of them are free, which is weird, but yeah, it's great. You can change the icons, the fonts, and you can even change the navigation buttons, which up until now was only possible on CyanogenMod. So the customization choice here is definitely unlimited. And finally, the second bonus feature which I want to mention is the micro SD card expansion. So now that Samsung has decided to completely change their design, they also removed the memory expansion from the S6, leaving the HTC One M9 one of the fewest devices that still have this. So the M9 comes with 32GB of internal storage, but you can expand that for up to 128GB of extra storage with a microSD card. So just to give you an idea, a 32GB Class 10 microSD card from Samsung will cost you around £10 or $15. And you would get 32GB of extra storage for a total of 64GB on your M9. Whereas with an iPhone 6, for example, upgrading from 16 to 64GB would cost you an extra $100. So yeah, there we go. These were my top 5 HTC One M9 features, but let me know in the comment section down below which was your favorite feature. Also be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you in my next video, my top 5 bad HTC One M9 features. So yeah, Zen of Tech, signing out. Cheers.